What? Does he have more ideas?
He's really nice. The class is hard. Yeah. Like the
What's that? Just wax. Just wax. Wax.
the same back my hobby.
Yeah.
I've never been there. Yeah. 100%. It's probably this as well.
Sisters, but even though her ex
Yeah.
I have to
I think it goes to
okay.
What matters? He's like, that's all that matters. It's like, I can show that. That's what I know.
It was so funny.
Because the chefs I didn't know what. And then the two
You know it.
I can. Oh, I just remember that. Yeah, that's father himself.
I'm staying for you that. It's literally, it's the black, you know, the train tracks.
That's very small story. It's 2015. Sarah goes to Harvard and yeah, they all. That's like freedom and stuff. Very good.
It says,
Like my social.
so this
My decision is like
so I'm like, so I'm like, sort of like, infrastructure.
And no, Mary, you got like up there. Go back to yes, your lady can clap. Okay, we got the license right here. Okay. Pass it back to me. Thank you. It's not necessarily it's not black. It's not even a money. This is lots of and where's the display? Where is the display at?
You gotta fix that, don't you?
Tab. I say, I'm gonna see her later anyway. The display upstairs. My project was last year. Great. Gotta get it up there. What happened to my thing? Jason, all right, let's see. Pass it back to her. Yep. Yes, I do. And then go to me. Then go to the right. That should just. No generation, but it looks like she wants to you need a stay.
Second year knows. And I was like, what do you? Yeah, I know. Really. I saw a kick from the 10:30. I'm like, I know. I just. So much. I got
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's
You do events, right? Yes.
So I think that we are pretty much ready to get started. I hope that everyone's attending. Now we're all stuffed on fried chicken and everything. Right? How are you? What are you doing? Gosh, everyone's here. This is wonderful. So everyone, so most of you all know me, right? So I'm the program director for the funeral service program here at Eastwood College. My name is Tara Scarponi. I'm also the immediate past president of the New Jersey State Funeral Directors Association. So some of you might know me from there, Mr. Arnold, right? Yes. I've been around for, the past 20 years in the funeral industry, right? So welcome everyone. Truly, this is just so amazing to see this room so filled with so many people in our industry. So I think, yes, we'll do a round of applause for that, right? And all of our upcoming students that are going to be in the industry as well. Yes, thank you. So thank you for being here. Please, throughout the evening, feel free to get more to eat, drink, coffee, cookies, anything that you would like. So thank you so much for being here. At this time, I would like to introduce our Dean of Academics, Dr. Gerges. He's going to come forward. He's a big supporter of our program here. Does he want to come forward? Yes. You want to come forward? Okay, I didn't know if I... Thank you so much. And then we'll turn it over to Professor Ledford as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming. We welcome our guests, our funeral directors, and our special guest, Mr. Sisa, and all our funeral directors. Welcome to Eastwood College.
All right. Okay.
Start our Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. It is so good to see each and every one of you. Alumni, please stand up. I believe this gentleman was the first graduating class. First graduating class. Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. So, students, there is hope. You just have to listen, to read, to study, and apply yourselves, and you all can do it. You have to listen, you have to read, and you have to apply yourself.
You missed them.
Help me.
No, you missed the studies.
Study, yes. Teacher can always learn. But I'm so excited to see all of you out here, both students, alumni, supporters, industry supporters, licensees, all coming together. This is very, very exciting. Students, you are blessed because you are in the room with greatness, right? I believe that deserves a round. Come on. And what do they say? If you don't know, now you know. So you are in a room with greatness, and we did this by design, intentional, so that you can see and that you can understand that you can excel, you can do this, and you can get this credential. Once you have the credential, then you can move to giving back and serving, because that's what it's all about. So I just again wanted to welcome you. I also want to acknowledge a gentleman who is here to help us bring this information back to Sissa's home right now in South Africa. Now, what time is it back home, Sissa?
Yeah, about 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m. back home where he is from. And thanks to this gentleman and his skill set, Sissa's family, employees, and community are able to be a part of this right alongside. So I wanted to introduce Mr. Mike of Fieldhouse Entertainment Television, if you could stand. And so for our students and for our professionals, Mr. Mike and his organization, they are available to assist you in supporting you with any of your video and technology needs, and most importantly, live streaming of the services that you are doing. So he is here the entire time. Should you need to connect with him, please feel free to do so. You may see him bouncing around doing his thing. Please let him do his thing so that he can ensure that Sissa's families back home are able to participate with this experience just as you are. So again, thank you so much, Mr. Mike.
Thank you.
I bet you all did not know that you have a member of the State Board of Mortuary Science of New Jersey in your presence, did you? We didn't know. I'm just going to have her stand and wait because I think it's important that the students know what we talk about. What you're being taught is real life. And so here is one of your board members. Anybody have an intern card? Right? That's what you got to go through in order to get it. So I just wanted to make sure that you understand and can appreciate that connection. Next, what I want to do is, if we could somehow just raise our hands and wave to Sissa's family, colleagues, and friends back home to let them know that we are taking care of him and he is in good hands. They'll capture it on the video, so hands up high and wave so that they know Sissa is in good hands. If you can imagine sending your child away for the first time to another country with foreign people, 20 hours away on a plane, places to that they haven't even been. So that's what we're kind of going through right now. And we so appreciate you, Mom and Dad, and the family and the organization back there for your support. I promise you I will be brief, but there are some nuggets that you must know and understand that's a part of this process. Many, many years ago, one of New Jersey's strongest female practitioners of mortuary science made a decision and a commitment to expand the work that's going on here in the United States to many other countries. And that comes in the name of Dr. Edith Churchman. I'm actually going to have her come forward. And just reach you so that you understand this work started many, many years ago. And she was a one-woman band traveling around the world, making connections so that we all can continue to learn, grow, and cultivate one another. Dr. Church.
Oh, good evening. Thank you very much. So it's been my pleasure to have been able to trot around the globe. When I was a very young child, I knew I wanted to travel. And it took me decades, but I finally made it. And not only did I make it, then I started poisoning Kyle, I started poisoning Sean, and I had them come with me. And
Me too.
oh yeah, Madonna, I forgot about you. How did I forget? So I'm very glad to be here tonight. I'm glad that Caesar's here. The last time I saw him was in Kenya. So we're glad to see you on this side of the pond. Thank you.
All right.
Let's give her a round. And while she's taking her seat, it is also important to know that she was just re-elected as the president of the Garden State Funeral Directors Association. With that, I want to thank the officers and members of the Garden State Funeral Directors Association as they were key and instrumental in CISA coming here and being able to share with us. Honorable mention, they are not physically present. The Bucklands of Somerville and the Wiggums of Newark, who felt it not robbery to take care of CISA's housing and food while he is here. So just wanted to acknowledge them for their contributions to making this a success for everyone. Last but not least, and before I do that, I just want to talk about what CISA has been doing since his arrival here in the United States on Friday. He came and was a presenter for the 40 and Under Educational and Leadership Summit that was just housed in Tampa, Florida by the National Funeral Directors and Morticians Association Convention. I believe he arrived on Friday. We had a team to meet him on Friday. Saturday, he learned what it was like to build and prepare for a convention. And so he worked with the convention committee, ensuring that things were ready for the opening of the summit, which was on Sunday. Sunday, he went to church with us, and he, I believe, had lunch with us, and then he had a presentation to kind of open up the summit. Then Harvell and I let him loose, so we don't know what he did for the next couple of days with all of those 40-year-olds. And then we kind of connected, actually first thing this morning, we got on a plane and ended up here in Newark a little after 12 noon today. Got him back to the hotel, was able to freshen up, and then he is here live for you all. He will be going to New York City tomorrow, right? So that deserves a round of applause. He's excited. Never been to New York City, just kind of saw it. So he will be physically there, but not before he works. So tomorrow we'll be starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, leaving Clark, New Jersey, going to Hamilton, New Jersey. He will do a removal, transfer out of the Capital Health hospital system, and then go back to Ledford Funeral Home in Trenton. He will then go to the New Jersey State Vital Statistics Office to see and understand how the death certificate process works. We'll then head back to Ledford Funeral Home, pick up what we picked up, and head on up to the Rose Hill Crematory in Linden. We're here to witness a cremation, get to tour their facility, and then we're going to park the car and head to the city. Now, what's an old man and a young man going to do in New York City? That remains to be seen. But we're going to do it. Friday, he'll have a little period of rest. We'll take him some shopping to make sure he has his necessities to go back home. And then Friday afternoon, he will pack up on a plane for 20 hours, come back to his mama and his dad. So I just kind of wanted to share with you what the experience looks like and what he is experiencing. And thank you all so much for opening up your school to accept him and to learn a little bit more about kind of what goes on the other side of the pond. Before he comes, I do want to introduce to you all, not a secret, but a celebrity, in that of Professor Shawnte Harvell, as you all know him. He has another identity, which is president of the National Funeral Directors and Morticians Association, of which he has 5 more months to serve. He doesn't make no qualms about that. But I just wanted to have him come and greet you before Sissa comes in his own way. And again, thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Professor Ledford. I'd like for you to give yourselves a round of applause. Worked out a deal with your professors. They're not going to teach tonight. I told him to take up all the time, which means he has to do this till 10 because Madonna teach until the lights go. Those of you who are in the restorative art class, when you get around about chapter 13, 14-ish, you're going to hear about the co-author and the name of Dr. Edith Churchman. So she's actually here in the flesh. So if you want to talk to her after this is all over with, maybe she can give you some pointers when it get down to that chapter, or maybe we can invite her in. I always do this, especially if he's in the room. When we, in the classroom, we always talk about how important it is to get an apprenticeship, get an internship, work with your preceptors. And no matter where I am or where I go, if this man is in the room, I will forever acknowledge him, because I do not wait for someone to be laid across the church to talk about how good they were to me, right? And so this man was my preceptor. And not only was he my preceptor, baby, we fell out. He sent me home a couple times. I got mad because he made me shine the brass railing and all of that stuff. And one day he called me in the office. He says, what are you upset for? And I said, well, I want to be a funeral director, and I'm not here to do maintenance. He said, well, I'm not training you to work for me. I'm training you to work for yourself. And when you work for yourself, you're going to have to do all of that, because you're not going to be able to afford everything you see around here when you first started out. And I looked at him and I said, you got a point, right? And so he was there when I graduated mortuary school and he presented my diploma. He was there when I got a license. He made me run for, at the time, vice president of National Funeral Directors Association. He was there when I ascended to the presidency. He was there when I became the president of Essex Union of West Hudson. He will be there in August when I ascend again to the chairmanship. And he also will have to stay around. So after I'm done with all of this, I can sit down like him. And so I just want you to stand, Mr. Arnold. I just would like all of the Garden State members to stand up, because again, if it were not for you, there would be no me. Thank you. Anyone know Susan if you're looking for an apprenticeship, and this is serious. Susan, she's the person to talk to. She literally beats funeral directors down until they take apprentices. So, Susan.
He's not lying.
Susan and Miss Beverly Cotton, Ryan and I were elected to be the president and vice president of Garden State. We were brand new. We were actually the first state to have a president, vice president under the age of 35. And there was a big party that they had every year. And so we felt that, it needed to be kind of spruced up and we needed to kind of take it to another level. And so we did. And we had it at the Hyatt in New Brunswick. And after the party, we got the bill. And we got the bill, and our next meeting was coming up. And Ryan and I, we usually meet up and we'll kind of go have a drink or something before the meeting. So we went, we had a drink, and we sat there and we said, well, it has been a short ride, but we just know tonight we're getting voted out when they see these numbers. And I said, Susan's going to lead the charge. So we get to the meeting, and we sit down, and they start going over the bill, and they're looking at Ryan and I. And to our surprise, Susan and Mr. Arnold goes, well, did you all learn the lesson? So we was like, well, yeah, we learned the lesson. They said, well, it's going to be all right because we had a good time. And so, but that was our training ground to prepare us for the next level. And I said that to say that, your professors, your preceptors, that's their training ground to prepare you for the next level, because who would ever thought that me at my young age would be the president of a national organization, of an international organization, because South by, which CISA will talk about that, they're actually under our organization as well. And so, who would have ever thought that someone like me, 43 years old, I went to school with Miss Carter, and she's 10, 12, 13 years old. Who would have thought? So when you're sitting there, you don't have to be the best mortuary student. I wasn't the best mortuary student. I wasn't worse. But you never know where this profession will take you. And so just to encourage you all that, you're here, you're getting your license, and you may have a cantankerous preceptor, but guess what? That only lasts for 2 years. And after that, you hit the ground running. Thank you all. I'm going to have you ready, Cisa? You sure? All right. My guy, Cisa. Cisa's father was equivalent to the vice president of the national, so he was like the deputy. And we met him a few times, and then we were introduced to Cisa. And Cisa didn't talk as much as Dad talks. And, he's kind of a quiet, reserved guy. But he is a wealth of knowledge at his young age. He is under 30 years old, and he runs his family's funeral home. And they do quite a number of funerals. He will explain to you how many they do. So at this time, we're going to invite Cisa to come forward, and he will share the overview of South African funerals.
Good evening to you all. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yes.
When you are in a different place, it's such a culture shock to the greetings, because where I'm from, we greet in a certain way, and when I speak to people here, they greet in a different way. So the adjustment is always so fascinating when you have to make that adjustment. It's very cold here, by the way. I was told it was going to be cold, but I didn't expect it to be this cold. I think Carl sent me a picture last week or the week before I came, and he showed me the snow, how thick it was, and I was like, with my height, I would have. I want to go off the screen.
It's on their
Straight there it is. Okay.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, this is perfect. Thank you all for having me here. It's such an honor to be standing in front of such a big crowd and a well-achieved crowd. From hearing Carl and Mr. President speak of the legends in this room, I feel very honored to be amongst legends. And when you're younger, they'd say you must stay close to your elders because that's where the knowledge is, you know. In my language, I'm Zulu, we say, indlela ibuzo baba phambi, meaning the way is asked, or you ask the way from the, English is escaping now. You ask the people who have already carried out the journey as a younger guy or younger lady. So it's good to be sitting amongst legends as you guys here in the front. Thank you. Another legend is Dr. Churchman, who I've had the pleasure of meeting a few times. She's a lovely lady. Thank you for starting these relationships that have got me here, you know. It's through the work she's been doing in South Africa and other parts of Africa, in visiting our associations, that has allowed me to be able to be here today. And thank you to Kyle and Mr. President Sean as well, because they're the ones who actually encouraged me to come here late last year when we left Kenya. It sounded like it was a conversation in the beginning, which ended up being a reality, you know? So yeah, and for me, it's my first time in the States, never been. And in the time I've been here, I've traveled so much and I've done a lot. I'm tired. Before I start, I have one question though. What food or meal should I try while I'm here?
Seafood.
All of it. Some everything. Seafood. I've had a lot of seafood in Durban.
You go to New York, go to Harlem, eat Joe.
It's all fun. I like that one. Yeah. Okay. So my name is Sisa Ngobo. I am from South Africa, as we've mentioned, a place called Durban in South Africa, which is a very warm place and coastal city. It's actually very similar to Tampa. So while I was there, I was like, this feels like home. And I'm currently the CEO of a company called Ndabe Dignified Funerals, which is a funeral home in KZN, Durban, that is owned by my family. So the company was started by my father some 25 years ago. And him and my mom have retired, and I have been running with my siblings for the past 5 years now. So it's a second generation, as you'd say, funeral home. See if this thing's working. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So things are a bit different in South Africa in terms of schooling and accreditation when it comes to being a funeral director. We don't sit in a class like this to become funeral directors or morticians. This is very new to me. It's actually very foreign, you know. So for us, I did not actually study any what would it be, a degree or diploma in funerals, because there is no such classes in South Africa. But you can study to be an embalmer, you can study to be a mortician and do a course in it, but there's no formal education like this platform that you guys have here. So you could literally like start and open up business tomorrow with no education if you wanted to. Yeah. So as I was saying, I am from South Africa. I just wanted to show you that I am from all the way down there at the bottom. That's where South Africa is in the map of Africa, and Durban is all the way there. As I said, the coast. So this is the Indian Ocean, and on the other side we have the Atlantic Ocean. So South Africa has two oceans. That's a fun fact I wanted to share with you guys. So as I get into the industry of South Africa, it is a vast market. You find that in South Africa, there's about 15 to 20,000 funeral homes that are currently operating today. That's a lot, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, and in that, it's split between a formal market and an informal market. And the difference between our formal market and informal market is that they don't have licensing or any accreditation to operate as funeral directors. So just an example would be, if you want to be a funeral director, there's 4 licenses you need. well, not 2 licenses and a permit. Whereas here, I know you need to go to school, you need to get some other qualifications, and then you have to study and then be an intern. So here we don't have all of that. You don't need to be an intern. There's no form of internship to be or required to be a funeral director. Hence why we have so many in the industry. So you'd find that where I'm from, in a strip of about 2 kilometers, there would be about 10, 20 funeral undertakers in that road. And on that, you'd probably find that more than 60% are informal and 40% are formal. And this is South Africa as a whole. The value is estimated at 10 billion rand, which is about $600 million. And that's in funeral service. And then the insurance part of it is valued at double that, which is estimated to be about 20 million rands. And that would be, I think, about $1.2 billion. Yeah.
US money?
Yeah, US money, yeah. Yeah. So that's the value of the industry in South Africa. So it's a big industry. There's a lot of players in the market, and there's a lot of money in that industry as well. And then the typical cost of a funeral ranges from 10,000 to 50,000 rands, which if you convert to dollars is about $600 to $3,000. A typical funeral. That's how much it costs in South Africa, and it can go up to about $60,000 depending on who passed away and how much they want to do for that funeral. But average cost is sitting at about 600 to 3,000 US dollars. And that's good money for us, by the way. Good money. We break our probably between 50 to 80% margin on this profit after the work is done. So compared to your guys' costing structure, it's different. You guys can't do anything with this, eh? Yeah. Starting costs of a funeral range from about 500 to 500,000 to about 3 million rand, and then that's about 31,000 US dollars to $185,000. That's to set up a business if you're doing it formally. So I don't know how much it is informally. But if you're going to set up a proper business with your own facility, you have showrooms, you have your stock, everything, that's how much you'll be looking to go into. And cars as well. Okay, so the business model that we have in South Africa are split in two. So we have an insurance model and a funeral service model. And as funeral undertakers, we're able to participate in both models or one model. So you could choose to only be a funeral services provider, or you can be a funeral services provider and a licensed funeral insurance provider. So in a formal market, we would be able to sell a policy or life cover to an individual. That individual will come and sign up in our premises. They pay us the premium, and when it comes the time of death and they need to claim, they claim in our offices, and we pay them out the claim. And that claim then feeds back into the system, and then we use that money to do a funeral. So I know it's a bit different to what the insurance model works here. And then you can also flip it to the other way, where you just have a funeral-only model. And in the funeral-only model, you would find that it works quite similar to here. So a client calls, there's a removal, you quote them, you do a removal, they come into your offices, you do arrangements, and then you do a funeral service. And that would be the funeral service market without insurance. So you can choose to do one or the other. You don't have to do both, or you can do both. So personally, in our business, we do both. And we operate in, I'd say, about 12 premises, and we sell funeral insurance to the public through a call center. And then we have facilities or morgues that we then do funeral services out of. And then on an average, we do well over 100 funerals a month. And then we do over 1,000 policies a month as well, funeral insurance. and that's going on every month to month for the whole year. If you guys have questions, you can ask, by the way. If you have questions, you can ask as I go down. Yes, ma'am.
So how large is your staff? How many people work with you?
Yeah, I have probably about 180 staff that work full time.
How many cars do you have?
Quite a large amount of cars as well. Yeah, so there's a big
Funerals on the Saturday.
on Saturday. 20? Yeah. So, but I'm gonna get to the point where I show you what the funerals look like, so you understand why there's a need for so much staff when you work in funerals in South Africa.
Cesar,
Yeah.
can you just mention if somebody were to work in your call center, how many languages would they speak?
Oh, good question. So in South Africa, we have 11 official languages. So when we are speaking to clients, so we call people from all over South Africa, but mainly focus in our province, in KZN. But we do have clients who are outside of our province. And you find that in the call center, our agents would need to speak English, Zulu, Xhosa. Those are the three common languages that are spoken in South Africa. And our market, so our target market, speaks those languages. You also have Sotho as well, but if you cover English, Xhosa, and Zulu, you're able to speak to the majority of people in South Africa. For funeral policies, by the way. Yes, sir.
So the funeral insurance model that you were talking about, it sounds very similar to what we would call pre-need here.
Okay.
Is there any significant difference between like the funeral insurance in South Africa and pre-need arrangements here?
Maybe you'd have to explain the pre-need a bit more. I have a simple understanding of pre-need, but I don't think it's quite the same though.
It's not the same. We don't pay it. It goes into a trust.
So let me explain just on the insurance model. If you take a policy, you pay for it, you contractually obligated to pay for it every month.
Right.
And only on your passing can you claim, or a dependent from your family pass away. Then you can claim that policy, and the policy pays out for a funeral. If you forfeit the policy, you forfeit, you don't get anything back. So I'm not sure if that's similar to free need.
I think part of the difference is in South Africa, you're holding the money.
Correct, we hold the money.
Here, we have choices in the state, not the funeral.
Yeah, so we as a funeral home hold the money. Oh, but only if you have a license to hold money. So you need a financial services provider license that you need to get in order to hold the money. So you administer the claims and you collect the premiums as well. But it's also your responsibility to make sure the clients are paying. So then you also have to call them and ask them to pay if they're not making their payments.
That's insane. But see, do they have to come to your funeral home if they have the insurance policy there? Or can they use somebody else?
They can use someone else. So you're able to, remember, you pay them out. So if they choose not to do a service with you, you can pay out the client their claim amount, so whatever policy they took, because there's different cover amounts, so they can take a policy for 10,000 or 20,000. So if they say, no, we're not doing the funeral with you, and we would like to use a different service provider, then we pay directly to the client, and then they can go to funeral X to continue with the funeral. Or not, or not, because
What would be an example of informal funeral home setup? Only give us the.
Okay.
What's an example of the informal?
Okay, so informal would be someone who has most likely an office or not, and they don't have a morgue facility, they don't have a refrigerator, they have no staff, and they just work as fly-by-nights. So as soon as they get a call, they wake up and they're not immediately.
He's okay tonight.
They just show up and get the body.
Yeah, they just so you'd find that they wait so informal market service providers usually wait at hospitals or you do death certificates and they wait there for a family in need, and then they speak to them and say, I can offer you X, Y, and Z. I know funeral home X is charging X amount, I can do it for half. So that's the formal. And then there's a second level to it. So you get people who have premises and they're selling funeral policies, but they do not have the license to do so. So then they are collecting premiums illegally from clients. And where the problem comes in is at claim stage, when the client says, okay, my mom has passed away, I need a funeral, and the guy says, hey, I don't know. So that's still part of the informal market.
So if you're starting if you're in the formal and you have a licensed agent, what does a funeral home need to do besides having a license to sell insurance? Like, what does that financial backing look like? Because in order to house premiums and pay out at that time,
Correct.
what does your financial backing have to be in order to pay out those premiums?
Okay. So what happens is that once you have a license, there's a criteria, or before you get a license, rather, there's a criteria in getting the license. So the financial services sector would say they need A, B, and C, they need the financials, you need to hold X amount in cash, reserve for it, and you need to be backed by an insurer. So if you are not backed by an insurer, they will not give you a license. You wouldn't be allowed to sell. So then that is how it works. So when we sell policies, we do all of that work, but we are reinsured. Yeah.
So who actually regulates your agency? Like she said, state what mortuary science. Who regulates you?
I was actually talking to Carl about this earlier. So we don't have an endowment council or regulatory board or anything for them. So we have a financial services board that regulate the financial part of it, and then we have other state organizations that monitor the morgue facility, but when it comes to the finer details of it, there's no individual board that will look at each segment of the industry. So when it's an umbrella effect, it makes it very hard for the regulator or the state or the province rather, to regulate it, because the approach to it is an umbrella approach. So there's no one person responsible for each level of the industry, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so in South Africa, as I just mentioned earlier about the 11 languages, there's also a vast cultural differences within South Africa. So there's yes, correct. Yeah, there's all the Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, Afrikaans, many cultures, and all of them do things differently. And with each culture, you observe a different way of doing funerals. So as a funeral home, if you are solely focusing on one culture, then obviously you're losing out on the others, because you can't service them if they see you as being a one culture kind of funeral home. So just to make an example, when we do funerals as Zulus, there are many cultural traditions that need to be followed. So I'll make an example. If someone passes away today, being Wednesday, they will only be buried most likely the following weekend. Because culturally, you cannot have a funeral without the entire family present. So if there's someone who is in another province or out the country and there's family, you all have to wait for that person to come back. Nothing's going to happen until they come back. When we look at funerals as well, the pricing of them is different depending on race and culture. Because not for any racial issues, but it's more of how they like funerals done. So it's preference. So you would find that if you are doing a funeral for a Zulu, it will cost way more than a funeral of a Muslim. Because culturally and traditionally, we do things differently. So out of the cultures we have, black funerals are the most expensive in South Africa, because we like those extravagant elaborate funerals, you know? So even in South Africa, it's less. Yes, correct. So and also those are the funerals where you'd find the most people at. And by most people, I mean most people present at the funeral. So in South Africa, you could find anything from 300 plus at a funeral. In African funeral, so it's really African funeral. And that changes the cost of it because you have to feed all those people there. And also during the week of leading to the funeral, we have night vigils every night. So there would be different family members, friends coming each night to the home of the family to come see them and pay their respects up until the day of the funeral. And every day that happens, there's catering.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, yes. Okay, but that happens on a Friday. So usually the day before your loved one's gonna be buried, so the body will sleep at home and sleep overnight, and then you wake up in the morning and then proceed with the funeral.
So what? Most obviously, most of the time here, we have the repast, which happens somewhere else besides the funeral home. You're saying that within like your funerals, you're feeding the families.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Funeral home
yeah.
for the family.
No, the funeral home. So we
Funeral
cost it
home.
in our funerals.
So that is part of
As yes, but that's extra cost. So you'll find that we
okay.
charge catering services as an additional. So as a funeral undertaking staff, you know the market and you know what they're gonna need. So it makes sense that you offer everything they're gonna need and they get it from you instead of going somewhere else because they're gonna get anything. Yeah. So catering service we do, and you just quote them for the days they need catering services or whatever it is that they might be looking for. You would find that also. Religious views also play a big impact on funerals. I'll make an example of Catholics in South Africa. So the Roman Catholic do not cremate in South Africa. So they believe in burial. So you'd find that they will only bury. So if you want to do a funeral, you have to be very aware of that religion and they believe that it does not bury and you don't offend them. And also in the churches, when we do funerals in South Africa, you find that in the churches you like to put flowers, you like to put nice chairs, but for the Roman Catholics, you cannot put anything in that church. You have to keep it as pure as it is. And then you don't step on the altar, not at all. So it's very important that when we do funerals, we are very cognizant of what or who are we servicing at that time. And also our cemeteries are also made for religions as well. So we have Muslim-only cemeteries, we have Jewish-only cemeteries as well, and those are all culturally and religiously made for those people and those groups of people. Yes, sir.
Regarding cremation, here we're seeing a large rise of cremations. A lot of families are preferring to cremate over bury. Is it the same kind of process, or would you say you've seen an increase in cremations in Africa, or is it dominantly burials, or is there any sort of rise and change in that aspect?
Yeah, I would say over the last 5 years there has been a rise in cremations, but it hasn't been significant. So for us, from the work that we do, we'd probably get 2 cremations a month. So it's very minimal cremations. So also just to that, it's also a cultural thing.
Right.
So back to this, for us, we would find that we do many funerals for our culture. So a lot of Africans, Zulus, a few Indians, and also whites as well. But culturally, the cultures that stick to cremation go to where they know specialize in cremations. And so from my end, I don't see it, but I know there is. Yeah. And another also a new aspect that influences funerals right now is age. So what do they call it? Called Gen Z or yeah, my age group. My age group. So when I'm dealing with families who the breadwinners are now my age group and they're the ones making the decisions on funerals, they are completely different to how their parents would have done it. So then we see that now funerals are going in a different way, and some traditions are no longer being followed because of the new beliefs that the younger guys or my age group guys would have. And that changes. So also just knowing that all these streaming platforms and digital things that we're doing in our funerals are very much influenced by this age group as well, because of the need to do so. Yes, ma'am.
What sort of examples would you say, like, for example, if you're compared to one group versus the other, would you say are differences besides like the streaming platforms? Like,
So-
what other?
So let me give you actually a good example. So the funeral program. So in South Africa, we were used to doing Zulu culture that you take the printed funeral program, and when you are burying your loved one, you put the programs in the grave, and it goes that. So everything related to that person needs to go with them in the grave, including their clothes that they wore the day they passed away. So. Wow.
Why is that?
Wait, I get to that. I got your question. But so, when someone my age comes and says, no, I don't want a program that is paper, like a digital program, that changes that part where it needs to go to the grave. You get me? So it's to be things like that. Another example is that when someone passes away, you have to go collect their spirit in my culture. So if you passed away at a hospital, your family needs to go and fetch your spirit from the hospital, go to the morgue, speak to you, and then take you to where you're going to be buried. So that as well is not being followed by the younger generation because they don't understand and see the need to do that. That's something that's been done culturally for eons. You know?
What do you do to the extra spirit?
Yeah.
So they use something that looks like a small twig with a bit of leaves, and then they go and fetch it with that. Yeah.
I want that.
You'd like that?
Yeah, sure.
I'll bring it for you. I'll definitely do so.
Oh, wow. Can't believe we are.
So, fun fact, embalming is not common practice in South Africa. It is not common. So you guys are here, I know you guys are here studying and learning how to embalm and that. Well, that won't, it's not going to work in South Africa. They'll be like, no, leave that outside. We don't need that. So what happens is that when a deceased, you're going to do a removal, you would then take the deceased, take them back to your facility, to your morgue, and then you do a wash. And then you use a chemical that we use, it's called formalin, and then you clean them in that, and then you put them back in the refrigerator, and then you keep them in the refrigerator up until the day or the day before they leave. So you do wash them again, dress them, and then you take them home. So that's what happens in South Africa commonly. There are families who do embalm, but that's only on request. And it's not law in South Africa that everyone has to be embalmed. So that's why you would find that majority, personally in our work, we don't embalm. I can't remember the last time I had an embalming case, unless we had to repatriate. Yeah. So just some of the reasons why that would be done, or some of the reasons we would embalm, is if, as I mentioned, if we have to repatriate out the country, so if someone passes away, we need to go back home. So that, of course, no doubt, has to be embalmed. If someone's gonna stay for a really long time in our morgue, so for whatever reason, we once had a case where we had a family from, I think, Ghana. It was 2-3 years back. A family from Ghana, and they needed to be repatriated back to Ghana. But they weren't going to leave at that time because they had an issue with paperwork. So they stayed in our facility for about 6 months. So in that case, we had to involve them. They had no choice. We gave them no choice. We had to because of that. They stayed 6 months in our facility. And then if you're going to do long distance traveling within the borders of South Africa, you need, and it's not a refrigerated removal van, you have to embalm as well. Because you can't go from one side of the country to the other with someone in the back and they're not involved. Yeah, with the heat and Durban in South Africa as well. That'd be a crime scene. Yes, yeah.
How many people in the facility do embalm? Is there an embalmer in the facility?
Yes.
How many?
No, one.
Okay. How about you? You wanna learn?
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
The president was saying tomorrow he's gonna take me to embalm.
He's gonna show you something.
Yeah, we got the patients already for tomorrow. And some of the reasons why embalming is not popular is because most cultures and religions in South Africa are against them. So if there's no law stating that we have to embalm, then, and we don't agree with all the process of messing with the deceased after they've passed away, then nothing's going to be done. And also, it's expensive for South Africans. Embalming is expensive. I'm just trying to do a quick conversion here. To embalm someone in South Africa would be 4,000 rand. I think if in dollars that could be about, on the spots, but divided by 16. So, how much?
I don't know, they don't do
Some of them, yeah.
250.
250, yeah. So that's how much, $250. Yes.
So due to the fact that you only have one embalmer, what are the requirements to become a funeral director?
So, no. You just need to be licensed. I'm going to show you the compliance side of it, but there's no schooling element that you require. So you just need compliance and like legal compliance, but not schooling compliance.
So all we have to know is language.
Yeah. No, 100%. Language, get the licenses, and then you're good. And I'll teach you 2 of them.
Teach you too.
Y'all better listen up when they have to get there.
Okay, so I just wanted to highlight quickly what our removals are like in South Africa. We do 24-hour removals as the funeral home. We don't use a third party for removals. We do all our removals on our own at any time of the day, night. The call comes in to us. We call, no robots on the call, and then we do the work. Once the deceased is examined by the doctor, so the doctor will come to our facility and examine the body. So I was having a conversation earlier today as well, and I found out that here in the States, you cannot go and just randomly pick up someone who passes away at home. So we can. So in South Africa, if someone passes away at home and they weren't shot, stabbed, and it doesn't look like an accident, we can take them and go to our facility with them. And then the doctor comes to our facility to then do the checks, and then we then register the death.
So if someone is
Then they will call the police. We call the police, and forensics goes there. Yeah, so it's police and forensics that then handle the case, and then afterwards they go to a state mortuary. They do an autopsy, get cause of death, all of that, and then once that is ready, that's maybe about 2 to 3 day process. Once that's done, then they give us a call, and the family let us know it's ready, and then we go to the state morgue, and then we do the removal, and then take it back to our facility. Again, as I told you, we do the body preparation ourselves. And then we do the final dress and coffin and burying on the day before the funeral, and then afterwards, then they would go back to their home and sleep there, and then wake up in the morning ready for funeral. Yes.
You're like COVID and woman, semi.
Say when they go to the Emmy, right? They get the autopsy done. Here, when they get an autopsy, and we have to do a 6-point embalming. What do y'all do when they get an autopsy to preserve the body?
They don't involve.
Yeah, do it.
They don't involve.
It's dangerous.
So after, in the case of an accident or someone is shot, whatever the case may be, and they are coming from a state mortuary. So in the state mortuary, obviously, they're not going to do anything after the autopsy. They're just going to stitch them back and say, this is what I did. So then they come back to our facility, and then we don't embalm, but we will, depending on the case, we will put them back together using an image the family gives us, what they should look like. So if there's like any scarring or any accidents on the head or arms or whatever they may be, we will fix them up and get them ready to go back home in the condition that the family knows them. But there will be no embalming in that case.
Perfect. So you don't do formal involvement,
Yeah.
What's formal?
Correct.
Refrigeration. Do you, and you have visitation, do you have open casket viewings? So they are open, the body.
Correct.
Deceased.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, we do.
Is that heat?
Well, the heat is not in my facility.
No, but you take, no. The next question is usually.
I understand what you're saying. Made it home.
I've never been to a funeral in South Africa, but I am comparing to Kenya, where I've been to a few.
Yes.
So where are the funerals usually or in your facility?
No. So no, the funerals are held at the church, at the hall, or at home. So it depends on the family where they're on. We don't have a facility in our funeral home to do a service. So we don't do services. Actually, you won't find, probably a few if there is, but I haven't come across one that has a chapel, a funeral home in South Africa with a chapel. So it's not common to, as it is here. So then they outsource that, because majority of also people belong to a church in South Africa. So they would be at the church, yeah. And just on the other question, what you were really asking, so when they go home and they are viewed at home, the heat, you were asking about the heat, right? So what we do is we have a blast like freeze in our refrigerator, and it's quite bigger than the refrigerator you guys use, because I saw one in Tampa, well 3 in Tampa rather, and they fit about 5 people, and they're like a rectangle, yeah. So our one is a walk-in, and like a real big one, cold, very cold. Cold, there's ice here outside. So by the time they go home, so they're able to sit outside for a 24-hour cycle. So yeah, that's what happens right now. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Is there, or like would there be an equivalent to like a sharing network out there? So, because out here we have one location.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are against it.
Maybe. I can't comment on that, but I know that our people are very culturally sensitive. So anything messing with the body after someone's passed away, death is very respected in South Africa, or in Africa as a whole, very extremely respected. You know, if you were to see, well, you can't see because no one's allowed to see it, but the grave of the Zulu king, when the monarch of South Africa are buried, they dig a grave that has seating inside. And like it's like those Egyptian looking ones that you can go walk underground stairs, and it's like a room underground, because of the cultural belief that there's life after death. So because of that, you cannot interfere with a person culturally because of that. You can't disturb the body. And we believe a lot, or in South Africa, we believe a lot in ancestors. So if you mess with your loved one's body, they will come back.
Yeah. Do you actually use coffins, or are you on to American caskets since Keith and all them are coming over? Are you using American caskets, or are you still using coffins?
Yeah, so there are still many coffins.
Okay.
And then, so the numbers are showing you for the funerals that start from $300. That's on coffins. Yeah, those pine wood coffins, and then you work your way up to the good, nice wood, oak, and then steel as well. So it just goes up depending on the family's affordability and what they would like.
Now,
the second question is?
Now, I have been on one of these trips to Durban, and I was told that you can bury in your backyard. Do they do that?
Correct.
To the Zulus?
Yes, correct. Yeah, correct. Yes, sir.
I just want some clarity on something. We had a ship out to, and it was 2 weeks before the funeral here, and we shipped into Africa, and it was a month before we could ship. And I saw the father of the deceased a month later, and he said the body was still in the funeral home there. And they particularly why the body was still in the funeral home, and do you charge a storage fee for that?
Yes. So your question is, do we charge a storage fee for that? Is that the question?
Yeah, would there be a particular reason why you would hold it that long, or
it could be different reasons, but I know that they will hold the body if you don't pay. Family matters that they need to sort out. They will cause a funeral. If family matters are an issue. Yeah, those are two maybe that come to mind at the moment. But if you do wait that long, you will be charged storage fees as well. Yeah. And also, as field directors, once you've buried, you can't go and dig up a grave if someone doesn't pay you. So they won't make up the body if they don't pay. Challenges that we face as an industry, just to highlight the biggest issues. One is burial space. So someone did ask about burial space. It's a big challenge in South Africa. Most cemeteries are state-owned, municipal-owned, and they are 90%, 99% of them are in capacity. And what you're finding is that there are 3 burials on one grave. Because of the issue of burial land. And we are seeing a few privately owned cemeteries, but in South Africa, it's very difficult to open a private cemetery. And one of the reasons that makes it hard is that the government who own the land that you would be looking to use, or the land, okay, not necessarily own the land, but who own the town planning of that land, would tell you that this is not in the plans for this area, and therefore you cannot get a permit or permission and the paperwork you need to open that cemetery, because we're going to open a mall there, or we're going to open do a housing project, or whatever the case may be. And as a result, we have a high rate of people who bury in their yard. Right. Mostly farmland though. So you would find that if you have a farm, you would demarcate an area in your farm and you would do family graves there. And then they put like a little fence around it. So you would find that when we go out to do funerals, we're not going out for cemetery, but we're going to bury in someone's backyard. So we go from the church to someone's backyard. Sometimes the service is actually at home, and the burial is at home.
I have two questions real quick.
Come on, see pictures.
For people that are buried in cemeteries, real fast, what is the cost of a grave?
Yeah.
And do you put that on your bill? Does the family pay you, or do they pay the government?
No, so we don't get involved in the purchasing of graves. Families purchase themselves directly from the municipality, and the cost of it is probably about 2,500 rands. That would be maybe less than $100, or just over $100. And then just quickly, as I wanted to show you. So with here, this is the business registration you need just to open a business. The first one, so it's you need to be registered with the company's intellectual property. Well, the C stands for at the end, but it's where you register a company, a private company. And then you have to have your tax certificate, register with tax. So that's the business compliance. And then to operate as an undertaker or a funeral home in the morgue, you need a certificate of competence, which you get from Department of Health. And then you need to sell funeral insurance, you need an FSP license, which you get from the FSCA. And then to be able to operate in that municipality, you need to get a permit from that place allowing you to open a morgue there. So this is all you need. If you have all this, you are formal, no schooling. Okay. So the future of the industry, the gentleman there spoke about cremations. I do see an increase in cremations because the example I made on the younger generation coming up, they're not going to bury it in their yard. I see them just saying, let's cremate. And then I see it becoming more highly regulated, especially on the part of schooling and that aspect and enforcing the law. And then also look at eco-friendly funerals, which would be aquamation. So we have aquamation facilities now opening in South Africa, and I think there's 3 that we have now, and I see more opening and people being accustomed to it. And also corporate entering the funeral market. That's something that's also happening in South Africa. Okay, the average funeral in South Africa is about a 5-hour job, one funeral, 5 hours. I'm just going to show you some pictures. Okay, yeah, this is what funerals look like. So these are the funeral we did. These are the funerals that we do. These are from the work we do. Flowers, we do the flowers in-house. We have a florist in-house. We do that. And the setup, the caskets we purchase from a local manufacturer who makes them. This is what it looks like at the cemetery. So you find that cemetery has gazebos, tents, chairs. The one at the end is someone burying in the yard. This is someone's home. So that's what it looks like. As you can see, they erect like a structure there as well. This is one of our morgue facilities that we have. So this is a walk-in morgue. I think this one here stores about 14 or 16. And it's one facility that we have. And that's what it looks like. Just on the side. These are what cemeteries look like. So on the left, private. On the right, these are state-owned. This one here I wanted to show you, this is a Muslim cemetery. So it had Muslim-only cemetery. Yes, sir.
Do you guys do above ground burials as well?
Sorry?
Above ground burial?
No.
Everything, okay.
Yeah.
Everything must go.
Okay, that's the cars that we use for work. So these would be the minivans. We use minivans as hearses. And then those are family cars at the top. We supply cattle. Funerals need cattle. So for every funeral there is, they need a cow. African culture, they believe that when someone passes away, you need to slaughter a cow or cattle for the right of way as they're going into the next realm. So they have a cow, and also the skin of the cow goes into the grave as well. Buried, and also the meat we eat it. And those are our cows. The family, so yeah, the uncle or the dad, whoever is the man of the family has to kill it. So this is what the funerals would look like. This is the church, at the church. They dance like this around the casket. And yeah. So this was a lady who passed away, a church lady, and this is what they would do. So what it is. And another one, same kind of idea. Same thing. And then this is just a video for my staff.
All right. And it's yellow.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Let's see another round of applause. You all enjoy yourselves this evening? Excellent, excellent. So a few housekeeping things, of course. First, you were provided a meal.
You good, you good, you good.
You're responsible for cleaning it up. Need I say any more? Okay. Second, Garden State Hill Directors, members. Fornos of Spain, 47 Ferry Street. That's where we are headed. Following this, I'm going to ask that you stay out of Sis's face so that the students can talk to him as they depart. You all will be seeing him very, very shortly, if that's okay. All right. The next thing, I'm going to call Sissa up because I'm going to tell a joke. I think some of you ladies will appreciate this joke. Turn to your neighbor and say, it's joke time. So Sissa talked about 3 people in a grave, right? And so we have I know where I'm going. We have a long-standing conversation, Harvell, myself, and Sissa, every time we get together, about the number 3, right? So in his culture, he is allowed 3 wives. Ladies, he only has 1. So you got 2 days to do man.
We only got 1.
It's really cold here. It's really cold here. It's looking warm. It's looking warm.
Definitely last but not least, I'm going to ask Uniqua if you would stand. And Kyrie, where is he? Let me stand up. Where's Kyrie? Stand. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to simply acknowledge and thank these 2 young professionals. Professor Harvell is on the road all the time, and he insists that I go with him carrying his checkbook. So we're away a lot. And these 2 folks do a yeoman's job of supporting what goes on, and they're always able to step in at any and every emergency that we have every 15 minutes. And I just wanted to acknowledge you both. Thank you all. They are responsible for this meal. Because I messed up and sent an email to y'all as students and it shouldn't have gone.
I didn't get it.
Harvell was in the air. I said, what we gonna do? He said, I got a text coming. Everything will be all right at 5 o'clock. So I want to thank you both very much for my friends, we are done. Garden State, you know what you have to do? And again, please clean up after yourself as you depart. Thank you all.
Listen, students, meet me here.